Pro oder Kontra, Vorteile oder Nachteile. So we're going to look at the, like doing a pros and cons paragraph in 5 Sätze, a 5-sentence paragraph about pros and cons in German. So if we kind of just look at a basic structure, while this doesn't necessarily seem like the best when you think about English, our first sentence is just simply going to state what this paragraph is going to be about. So an easy way to start that is dieser Paragraph handelt von, and von is a dative preposition, so you want to make sure that it is dative. If you take a look at the table here, we're looking at a pros and cons of using computers or laptops in the classroom or at school. So, ja, sollen Schülern, sollen Schülern Computers oder Laptops in der Schule haben? So, what's pro? What's con? The pros and cons of that. So that's simply what this whole paragraph's going to be about. So if I use this simple structure of dieser Paragraph handelt von and use it in the dative, dieser Paragraph handelt von den Computers in der Schule. First sentence. In the second sentence, we want to talk about the opinion of the author. So as you're the one who's writing this 5-sentence paragraph, what do you think? So, are you for or are you against computers or laptops in school? I think they're good to use in school. I think you can argue it either way. So I'm going to take the stance of a positive. If we look at some of the pros, ja, Kinder oder Jugendlichen werden gut auf den Umgang mit PCs vorbereitet. Fast jeder Job setzt Computerkenntnisse voraus, so computer knowledge. Der Unterricht kann Interesse dargestellt werden. Die Schüler werden mehr motiviert. Und so weiter, ja. So, für mich, ich sage mehr. So, ways to start this sentence. You could say, meiner Meinung nach, and then use a verb. So, in my opinion. Ich bin der Meinung, dass. Das is a subordinating conjunction, so you need to make sure you put that conjugated verb at the end of the clause. Ich glaube, or ich denke, so I believe that, or I think that. Once again, das, subordinating conjunction. Ich meine, I think, or ich finde, das. So once again, those with the subordinating conjunctions, we want to watch the verb order. So I've gone ahead and decided to use this particular sentence structure for the opinion piece. And let's go ahead and take a look at what I wrote. Ich bin der Meinung, dass Computers in der Schule gut sind. So I have to put that verb at the end because I'm using subordinating conjunction. You can look at previous videos and lessons on more about the subordinating conjunctions. So we have our second sentence. For our third sentence, all right, so what else is similar to your opinion? So whether you took pro or con, what could be similar to that? So this is great because you're utilizing different structures in German. So sowohl als auch, both and. Nicht nur, sondern auch, not only, but also. Das Gleiche gilt für, the same goes for. In diesen Zusammenhang, in this context, etc. So if I'm going for computers in school, I want my second sentence to also be a positive. If you are against, then you would also then add something that would be of a negation. So I decided to use the construction of nicht nur, sondern auch. Nicht nur, sondern auch, not only, but also. I just think that's a good structure to think about and use and practice in German. So I went ahead and used this particular pro fact. So, nicht nur fast jeder Job Computerkenntnisse braucht, so not only does almost every job require or need computer know-how or knowledge, sondern auch, but also, die Schüler werden mit Computers mehr motiviert. So I've combined these two. So they will also, they will be motivated more by computers. So that gets us 2 additional sentences. In a fourth sentence, you always want to also highlight the other side. So if you're for, acknowledge there is a con. If you have been against, then notice that there is kind of a positive. So this is really great. We can use trotz, which is a genitive preposition. Trotz, which means despite or in spite of. Because it's a genitive preposition, the object of that preposition must take the genitive case. So watch out for that. You can also use trotzdem, despite that or nevertheless. You could use obwohl, which is also a subordinating conjunction. And as a subordinating conjunction, that verb needs to go to the end of the first clause. And then it will have an inverted word order in the second clause. Or im Gegenteil, on the contrary, as well. So just a few things to consider. And so kind of noticing, right, like, yeah, there's certainly cons. So trotz der Vorteil, so despite the positives, spielen Kinder mit den Computers anstatt zu lernen. Despite the positives, children play with their computers instead of learning. So that's kind of what I was focused on in particular. I was like, well, even though there's some good stuff over here, right, there's definitely cons of having them in school. And then finally, we're going to be looking at a conclusion. So zum Schluss, like, what are we going to do at the very, very end? So how to wrap it all up. You could use alles in allem, zum Schluss, which I just said. I tend to go towards that. Jedenfalls, in any case. So you're trying to bring home your point. Jedenfalls helfen Computers Mann zu lernen. Ja. Und dann insgesamt. Hier ist ein Paragraph. So you can kind of use those 5 sentence starters to help you write a 5-sentence paragraph talking about pros and cons of a given topic in German.